About 20 years ago, a little boy just under 4 years old was being driven by his mom to the movie theater. If there were two things he had fallen in love with at such an early age, it was talking vehicles and animated films, especially one about a little orange and white fish and his dad's quest to save him. Little did he know, this cinematic experience would be a beautiful combination of both, one that would change his life going forward, a movie that he would see at least one or two more times in theaters. He would also get as many of the toys as he could, watch the film on DVD over and over again, and it would remain one of his favorite things for years to come. That movie being about a shiny red race car learning about what really matters in life, what it really means to be a winner, and appreciating the people around him. That movie being Cars, and that little boy being me. Holy heck, it's been 20 years since Cars came out. I'm already feeling old. While upon release it wasn't the most critically acclaimed or even their biggest hit at the box office, of all the films turned out by Pixar in the 2000s, one that would leave the biggest impact on not only me, but basically my whole generation, was Cars. I mean it, almost every other person I know around my age at least likes this movie, if not borderline love it, even as they've grown up. I have been there since day one with this franchise. It is amazing to see how much people young and old still love it. And heck, it's still ranked among my all-time favorites. This is the film I have watched more than any other. Heck, I can quote almost any scene. Just, you know that whole video of ProZD quoting Peter Pan as it's happening? Yeah, that's me. So what is my history of this film, and how did it manage to impact not only my life, but so many other people? Let's start from the beginning. As mentioned earlier, I was a very small child when this film came out. The first movie I grew attached to from memory was Finding Nemo, which came out not too long after I was born. It was colorful, fun, still looks absolutely gorgeous, and everybody in my family loved watching it with me. As with most young boys, I also liked vehicles, especially talking ones. Bob the Builder, JJ the Jet Plane, yeah, remember that piece of nightmare fuel? But the biggest show for me at such a young age was Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. A world full of colorful talking locomotives, each with their own design and personalities. It had a very easygoing but engaging atmosphere, and a boatload of toys for just about every character, scene, and episode. So, take the world as sentient transport and marketable personalities of Thomas, and mix that with the sharp storytelling, heart, and cross-generational appeal of the folks behind Nemo, and you had the perfect film for someone like me at that age. Cars. After seeing this film for the first time, I would go on to see it a couple more times in theaters, something I don't really do much. And let me tell you, this movie dominated the rest of the year. We got so many of the toys, my birthday was Cars themed, we got the McDonald's toys, I was Lightning McQueen for Halloween that year, and after Christmas, we met up with some family at Disney World, where I finally got to see my idol in person. Cars was my life going forward. In the years following, I got more and more of the toys. One of my first computer games was Radiator Springs Adventures, where I dominated the drive in and out game. A pretty big deal for a 4-year-old. I also had a V-Smile and Leapster, both of which had the Cars games. And of course my friends and I would watch the DVD nonstop, even toying around with the bonus features. Yeah, including that one. It was the biggest film for me, on my mind constantly. And of course with the advent of the internet, there was the Cars website with all these amazing games I could play. And some of my earliest YouTube experiences were watching Cars videos, some of which are thankfully still up. Even with just one film, there was still so much to satisfy my thirst. After I got my DS, I also got the GBA version of Major National. And one of my first Wii games was Cars Major National Championship. I would also go on to get the other two games. They were among my most played games growing up, and it was paradise. Getting to explore the open world of Radiator Springs, racing with all my friends from the movie, plus a few new ones, and enjoying some new stories was basically the game any kid could ask for. And there was also Cars Toon, with the video game, the DVD, and that awesome loop-de-loop set, which to this day, I'm still mad we don't have anymore. This thing was amazing. I eventually caught wind of a Cars 2 coming soon, and was through the roof. Two of the movies I remember being hyped for to oblivion as a kid were Toy Story 3 and Cars 2. Literally keeping track of the date until these two came out. And let me tell you, they went full out on the marketing for these things. They made you know that these characters are coming back. I still remember when we finally got Toy Story 3 on DVD. We popped that thing in, and one of the first trailers showing up was for Pixar's next film, with all these cool lasers going off, and this guy going, "They're about to become the next secret agents." What could this be? That Brave movie they announced? Something new? Only for boom! Cars 2 was a spy movie. Excitement was through the roof. They were making brand new toys. They actually made me want to drink juice boxes for a bit. And the Lego sets. Man, the Lego sets! While I did get a golden book of the film before I could even see it, I didn't care. I was excited. The day finally came, and while I didn't get to see it on opening day, some of the people at our church went with me to go see it. Even my local theater knew this was a big deal. They had a table in the lobby with that big fold-out poster and some activity sheets. I sat down and was on the edge of my seat the whole time. Not just from having to hold my pee in, but because this movie was awesome. This movie was the coolest and most kick-butt thing I had ever seen. I get a sequel to my favorite movie where Lightning McQueen races around the world while Mater gets mistaken for a spy, with high-speed chases, explosions, and an amazing soundtrack. This was everything I could ask for and more. Afterwards, they took me to Walmart and got me the Wii game. For a time, it was my favorite movie ever. Going online, I was confused. I loved the film, and the people with me liked it too, but so many critics and people online seemed to hate it. While the first film wasn't Pixar's most critically adored film, heck, it lost Best Animated Feature to frickin' Happy Feet! This was considered by many to be Pixar's first bad film. But I didn't care. I loved it, kids my age loved it, and I'm sure many people got into spy movies because of this. We didn't care. The movie was fun, it was cool, and of course the toys were still awesome. Years went on and I still loved this film. And of course was even more excited when I found out they were making a movie about planes. I was a bit outside the target group for planes, being around 11 when they came out, but I still liked them. I kind of felt more like I had to because, well, it's attached to one of my favorite movies. Though not too long after the second Planes came out, I had a pretty big transition in my life. It was time to start middle school. I still loved cars, quite a bit, but not everybody at that age did. They were more interested in stuff like Marvel or Star Wars, which, don't get me wrong, I also really liked, but I kind of felt myself slightly toning down my love for cars a bit. I was never made fun of for liking cars, and I do feel really bad for anyone who has. Some students I knew thought these movies were stupid, and a couple were also not too happy when they found out they were doing a third movie. I was still looking forward to the third movie, but wasn't really as excited for it. I was kind of slowly losing a bit of my love for the franchise. But all that changed in 2016 when two events happened. One, after years of waiting, I finally got to go to Disneyland and see Cars Land. And oh my gosh, it's awesome. You remember how Harry Potter fans reacted to Universal? Yeah, that's me with Cars Land. Every detail was right. It was magical. It was exactly like the movie, but with humans walking around. And the rides were spectacular. Radius Things Racers, even without my Cars bias, that is an easy top 10 for me. The other event was later that year. I still remember where I was. It was November. We were at Disney World for Thanksgiving break, and we had just spent the day at Animal Kingdom. I had gone on Everest a few too many times and was feeling some motion sickness. While waiting for some medications to kick in, I checked my phone and saw that the trailer for Cars 3 was out. I thought, whatever, let's see what it's about. And I watched it, and
Holy crap!
yeah, remember that time 10 years ago we all thought Lightning McQueen was gonna die? I knew they wouldn't do it. My love for cars came back full swing. Every day I was looking up new info on the film. I found as many trailers as I could, but also did my best to avoid spoilers. Leading up to this, I discovered the modding community for the games, and I discovered so many people online who love these films. They were really excited for this film, just as much as I was. Collecting the die-cast, speculating on what was going to happen in the third film. We were all really excited. After I finished middle school, the day finally came. Mom and I raced to the theaters to see it, and it was a really good film. Compared to Cars 2, it felt more like a continuation of the first film, and felt like a perfect conclusion. The one part that did really stick out to me were the Doc flashbacks. Between the release of the second and third movie, my beloved grandfather had passed on. To this day, every time I see this scene, it reminds me of him. It reminds me to keep making him proud. During my sophomore year of high school, I would go on to join track and cross country, and I fully confess to doing the whole I am speed mantra before almost every race. Come my senior year of track, liking's age and having to adapt to the world changing just rang true to me. The story took on a brand new meaning. Time marched forward, and my history with this franchise still wasn't over. After graduating high school, I started collecting the diecasts again after so many years. And while in college, I was surprised to see that so many people also loved this movie. There were several people dressed as Cars characters at our Halloween event one time. There was also a girl who had a Rusty's bumper sticker and Cars plushies in her back window. During a snow day, I also made friends with two people down my hall who were watching the second movie. I've grown to realize that this franchise has touched not only me, but an entire generation.
I think a lot of people don't realize how big a deal the Cars franchise is.
But the way I see how he showed that he was a very good friend.
These movies also taught me a lot over the years. Love the people in your life who will always be there to support you. Hone your talents and passions. Never be afraid to learn something new. Enjoy the world around you. Embrace what makes you unique. And never be afraid of chasing down your chance. For many of us, this is what got us into automobiles, racing, Route 66, spies, even collectible cars. This film shaped us in a way. I always see Cars memes, customs, edits, analysis, tributes, so many other cool things inspired by people who are passionate about this little red race car and his big adventures. Over the years, people have realized how much of an impact this has left on not only my generation, but future generations as well. I still see kids who enjoy this franchise the same way I did when I was their age. And I hope that another 20 or so years from now, it's still doing the same. So, to everyone who worked on this film, thank you. And may this series forever ride with us on this highway we call life.
I knowed I made a good choice.
In what?
My best friend.